Hi everyone, it's Family Talk again with Kemi. I'm here to talk about the topic that I titled Fight for That Family. I know for sure the word fight might not be so pleasant to a lot of people. It might be something scary, but I tell you by the time I finish this discussion, you have a clearer picture of why I titled this discussion Fight for That Family. Now, my discussion is going to be centered on the story from the book of Exodus, chapter 17, from verse 8 down to 13. That is from the Bible. And in this particular story, it was about the people of Israel on their journey to the promised land. Yeah, on their journey to promised land, they went to the wilderness, and on their way, of course, as they were going, Moses was their leader, was the one leading the people to the promised land. And on their way, something happened. They got to a particular location, and in this location, there was no water. They had no access to water. They were thirsty. They were thirsty to the extent that they walked up to their leader. They walked up to Moses to the extent that they wanted to even stone Moses. Moses went to God, being a man of prayer, being a man of God. He went to God to ask God, what do I need to do? And God gave him specific instruction, which he did, and the miracle happened. They had water they needed. And naturally, after a miracle, people will rejoice. They'll be glad. As they were doing this, the Bible recorded a group of people, a set of people, another set of enemies. They came, they camped against them. They decided to go to war with the Israelites. Suddenly, Israelites, they were just jubilating as a result of the miracle that just happened. And enemies came knocking. I tell you, issues of life, it doesn't have timetable. You might just have won a particular battle. You might just have had a kind of victory. And before you know what is happening, another one is knocking. So that was the experience of the Israelites at that moment. They just had a miracle and war was just at their door. Moses, being a man of God, knew what to do. He had a strategy. He told Joshua, Joshua, get some men, choose some men among the brethren and go to the battleground. Go and engage the people in a fight, the Amalekites, the enemies. Go and fight them physically. But instead of Moses going to join them on the physical field, what Moses did was to go to the mountain top. He went to the hilltop. According to the Bible, it said Moses went to the hilltop. He went with Aaron and Hur, his nephew. And when he got to the hilltop, as he was going, he went with the rod of the Lord, the rod of God. The rod of God could connote the word of God. It means the word of God. And when he got to the mountain top, when he got to the hill, what did he do? He had to lift up that rod. He lifted it up there, and while the rod was up, as long as the rod was up, victory was in the side of the Israelites. And any moment his hand comes down and the rod comes down, the victory was on the side of the enemies. Yes. This got Aaron and Hur thinking. They were sensitive enough to know that something has to be done. And immediately they did something. They got stone. Moses, please sit on the stone. And they lifted up the hand of Moses, one on the right side, the other on the left side, so that the rod could remain lifted until the battle was won. Until Moses, until Joshua, until the people of Israel had the victory they wanted. And, you might wonder, why did I tell this story? Yes, as I was saying earlier, issues of life will come. Challenges will come unprepared. It doesn't give you timetable. It doesn't give you schedule. A lot of people had COVID. They didn't know. They didn't prepare for it. I tell you, a lot of people died. I tell you, some people, it might not even be death. It could be challenges of life. Life happens. Life happens. Nobody knows when. But what do you do when your brother is going through? When a family member is going through, what do you do? Are you like Moses that will retrieve and go to the mountain top and fight that battle spiritually? Even if you cannot take on the sickness because your brother is fighting a particular sickness, that's the physical one. You might not join him to fight that physical one. You might not join him to take the sickness away from him. Or you might not join him in whatever he's going through. But you can go to the battleground which is spiritual, you can go to the YouTube and lift up this same brother unto God in prayers. You can intercede. You can have the helicopter view, because Moses went to the topmost top where he could see clearly. You could see what was the situation, what was the issue at hand. You could decide to go and intercede. And God for sure will show you what you needed to do on behalf of that brother, on behalf of that your sister, on behalf of that your neighbor that is hurting. Hey, not only that, Aaron and Hur, they saw the situation. They knew that Moses needed help. And they did. They did something. Don't fold your hands. That's not the time to turn away from your brother that is going through one thing or the other. That is not the time to begin to criticize. That is not the time to to condemn. That is not the time to begin to talk. But instead of all these talks, why don't you go on your knees? Intercede. Why don't you think of offering solution, offering help to that brother, to that sister that is in need, in your community, in your environment, in your church, in your neighborhood, even in your family. The Lord will help you as you do this. This is the message for the moment. God bless you. Get ready and do what families do. They fight for families. God bless you.